orangebrickroad.com.au, aren't they the guys who just interrupt themselves left, right, centre and talk over the end of their news? I don't know.
I know, 'cause I'm a newscaster now, mate.
You are, mate. Look at what a professional you've become. Jeez.
Dude.
I'm shocked and dismayed at the same time. Hey, and a man who does a bit of work with this fella, so you'll probably spend a lot of time, shaking your head as well. It's Bisher. How are you going there, Bisher?
I'm doing well, my friend. How are you?
Very, very well, mate. Very, very well indeed. Good to have you on the show and get into a bit of crypto hour of power.
Yeah, I was going to say, mate, you haven't even introduced the show yet.
No,
mate.
I haven't, mate. I haven't. Well, maybe because some bugger talked over the end of the
30 years
news.
in radio, and he still hasn't got it right.
Oh, look, I'm still practicing.
It's Crypto Hour of Power. We're just going to talk about crypto.
We are, mate. We are.
And economics and, what's the meaning of life.
Yeah,
the whole
just
9
small
yards.
things. Yeah, cool. We'll throw in some religion, some sex, Yeah, why not?
Yeah, dude. So each week we generally have a guest on to talk about sort of macroeconomics and finance and crypto investing, that sort of stuff. This week we have a Bisher from StormRake. StormRake is a brokering service that we use at Orange Brick Road. Now, the difference between a brokering service and a normal exchange we'll go into in some detail. But to start off with, obviously we introduce who we're talking to. All right. Hey, Bisher, how you going, mate?
I'm doing well, my friend. Great to be here, and thanks for having me back on the show. It's great to make an appearance.
Always a pleasure, my friend. Always a pleasure.
You're a brother from a different mother, bruh, so you're always welcome here. And do you like my new radio voice? I'm deliberately talking a little bit slower and a little bit deeper.
Oh, it's very nice. It's very sultry. I'll have to give you a call separately afterwards.
Dude.
It reminds me of those phone calls at 0055 numbers from the 80s. But
That's right. Here we are. All right.
Shocking
So,
stuff.
anyways, enough out of me. All right. So, what we generally do, Crypto Hour Power, we're going to talk about some crypto and that sort of stuff, like I said before. But what we do to start with is we get our special guest to just give a little bit of background, what we were doing pre-crypto, what got you into crypto, and what you're currently doing in crypto. So, throwing it over to you, Bish, amazes.
Awesome. I mean, look, from my end, I provide, let me get into my history. So I've been in Bitcoin since 2016, massively bullish on this asset class. I think cryptocurrencies are the way forward for everyone in terms of wealth creation and wealth preservation. We'll step into the macro as to why that is the case. I came into crypto from foreign exchange. I was initially an FX broker for about 5 years. Went into the professional crypto brokering space in 2019, early 2020, and I haven't looked back since then. So I've been a crypto broker for coming up on 5 years now as well. And now at StormRake, I'm the COO and one of the managing directors, where I can help my clients get access to Bitcoin and other digital assets through a simple phone call or email, a really simple low-touch service so that people can access the markets maybe the same way their father or grandfather accessed the stock market back in the day.
Yeah, nice. And when we say 5 years in crypto, we talk dog years. So every year in crypto is worth about 3 to 5 years. Because
absolutely,
because it moves so quickly, and you got to keep on top of stuff. All right. So, where do you see crypto going in the future, mate? Is it all up and to the right from here on?
Yeah. I mean, there'll be obviously volatility as we go along. And as I've always said, volatility is your friend. You can't have massive upside without some pullbacks along the way. But to give you a bit of color as to why I'm particularly so bullish on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as a whole right now is that there is a large debt bubble going on in the United States, over $37 trillion in national debt, and there's over $1 trillion in interest expense, right? Now, that annual interest expense, and this is coming from the words of Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent himself, he's admitted the truth. They can't cut the deficit without triggering a depression. So their plan is they're going to inflate it away. That means rate cuts, currency debasement, and lots of nominal GDP expansion.
Oh, Bish, you've just made a new promo.
No, sorry. Well, you know what I
clip that one.
You know what I mean? You can clip away, lad. Clip away.
That's going straight to TikTok.
That's right.
But essentially, that means they're cooked, and they're going to have to drop rates to kind of get it going. So, absolutely, what we've got to be keeping an eye on.
Yeah, it kind of sort of feels like this has happened before, where they're just overinflation and that sort of thing. Yeah, it kind of caused an event. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Their debt to GDP has never been higher. It's over 133%. Their interest on the debt is larger than the US defense budget. And Congress themselves have just greenlit spending that will grow the deficit by another 33% by the year 2027. That's genuinely not a solution. There's no even discipline involved in that. That's outright manipulation. So they're forcing banks to absorb more treasuries, the commercial banks. They've pushed through the Genius Act, which is stablecoin legislation to mandate treasury collateral as part of so they're forcing private companies to buy their worthless debt. And here's where Bissett comes in with a fantasy pitch: will grow GDP faster than debt, which is a code for currency printing. It's not fiscal management, it's actually desperation. Yeah, correct.
Complete debasement. And I love how they name these acts, Genius Act. Every time they name an act, you just think the complete opposite, like the Safety Act. And it's got nothing to do with safety. It's to do with control, that's also. So the Genius Act would be the Retard Act,
something like that, absolutely. And I mean, this is where Bitcoin really comes into the forefront, because it's not just reacting to the rate cuts, it's front-running the collapse in credibility for fiat currency. So if we just have a look at the landscape over the last little while, we hit 111,900 as an all-time, which confirms the breakout momentum. There have been a recent pullback to 104K US 5 on mainly geopolitical noise, not fundamentals.
Yep.
Gold's nearing 3,500, which signals a broader store of value repricing, and treasuries are losing value quite quickly, even before real inflation sets in. This isn't a dip. This is a volatility presented as an opportunity.
Yeah, and that's when people, the catchphrase, risk off asset, So that's when people pile into things like, commodities and gold, silver, and particularly now in this round be Bitcoin. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I mean, we've been looking at a decoupling from Bitcoin trading as a risk asset. Now, it does still have a lot more higher volatility than your traditional safe haven risk off assets. Yeah. But the reason why I see this correction isn't a reason to panic. It's a reason to act. Volatility is just a part of being in the market. Yeah. And it's the price that the investor pays for exposure to what is still one of the most asymmetric risk-reward opportunities of our lifetime. Yeah. Bitcoin's trajectory is trading towards $1 million price tag, which would reflect gold parity, right? Remaining completely intact. This doesn't change. Whether we're at 107, 112, 105, 104, us having a comparable market cap to gold, which is about 24 trillion, and Bitcoin's at 2 and a bit trillion, it's not a speculative asset anymore. This is a monetary revolution unfolding in real time.
Yeah, fully agree with that sentiment. And second to that, I think it'll get there a lot faster than what people actually imagine, because it's, it's restricted. There's only so many coins. They can't produce any more. So, and where do you think, saying that, I know this is sort of pulling a rabbit out of the hat, but I've been having a debate amongst the OBR team and other people that I obviously deal with. Mm-hmm. Where do you think in US dollars that Bitcoin will be in this round? How much do you reckon it'll be? As I know it's sort of guessing, but it's got to be a qualified guess. I've got my number. I just want to see what number you're thinking.
Look, if the Fed cuts rates, we'll probably see Bitcoin at 150,000 within 1 to 3 months.
Yep.
And if inflation persists and they continue to pump currency into the system, we'll be over 200K by this time next year. That's 200K US. Yep. Call it 260, 270 Aussie. The bond, let's be honest.
That's quite an
right?
opinion, mate. That's a big opinion.
Yeah.
Well, the bond market is broken, and that's a $300 trillion asset class trying to find a home in an asset class that's only $2 trillion in the market cap. The currency as well, US dollars, are being actively debased. Yeah. And traditional savers, they're guaranteed losers in real terms. So when capital flees the fiat currency markets and the fiat banking system, it moves fast and violently. And Bitcoin isn't going to wait for policy clarity. It anticipates chaos. This pullback is your moment, and I honestly feel that 200K within 12 months is not an unrealistic prediction, because it would give it a market cap of $4 trillion. To give you some context, gold increased in market cap value by $6 trillion in 4 months of 2025.
Yep.
So
Really?
it grew. Yeah. It went from 2,800 to 3,500 at the peak.
Yep.
And that represents a market cap of $6 trillion increase. So to give you some perspective, the gold market grew by the Bitcoin size, by all of the Bitcoins on the planet, by 3 times over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's some sort of movement. Yeah, that's kind of where I was at too. It was like about 180 to about 220, maybe 230.
Here's me, Mr.
you know.
Conservative. I was guessing about 132, 135. I'm now feeling like I need to run out and get some.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. I always tell my clients, you're not bullish enough. And it is true, because a lot of people think that they have to take on a lot of risk to really grow their portfolio values, when really the lowest risk option within the crypto market still has plenty of reward and upside in it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm still bullish on altcoins. I think they'll do incredibly well as Bitcoin trucks along to 200K. But as we anticipate, the altcoin market will have a much higher volatility. So it depends on the investor profile that you have. If you've got a very high risk tolerance, then crypto altcoins make a lot of sense. If you're literally just used to traditional financial markets, even Bitcoin's volatility is a lot to stomach for the average punter.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, especially if you're new into it, you know, just dip your toe, just, you know, buy some Bitcoin. You know, don't go into the old meme coins and NFTs and that sort of stuff.
Great advice. That's great advice.
Yeah, just go for
well, not
solid.
advice as such, but sort of, you know, your theories. I agree.
I don't give advice, man. I just tell people what to do. You know, buy Bitcoin.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but yes, speaking about the risk on and risk off, that's also you know, your portfolio as well. And like you were saying, is the type of personality. You know, if you're someone that likes a lot of high risk, you can sort of do your portfolio accordingly. Sort of medium risk, high, you know, low risk or whatever. You know, and that's what we do at Orange Brick Road. Is we tailor their portfolio. And Bisher does the same thing. You know, we tailor it to the individual's needs and also their tech level, you know, because, you know, you don't want someone that's got like multiple wallets and doing things and that sort of stuff, you know.
100%.
When they're just, okay. So what's the difference between an exchange and a broker? Because you are a broker.
Correct. A fantastic question.
All my questions are fantastic, mate. Just assume that. All right. Oh, there's my phone.
Right. Oh, that's a carton.
Oh, there's
Look
a carton.
That. That's a carton.
Sorry, mate.
No
you go for it,
Work.
Bisher.
Didn't turn my phone off.
Yep, no worries. So really the main difference between a broker and exchange is that you're going to get a dedicated point of contact within the business.
Okay.
I love using exchanges as a professional investor in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency markets. Using exchanges for me is like drinking a cup of water, very easy. But for the average punter and investor within the space, it's going to be quite daunting, because each platform you need to set up, you need to KYC with, you need to set up 2FA or like
KYC,
a multi-factor
what's that to us normies?
It's know your clients. You have to upload your documents over and over and over again to many, many different platforms. Some of them don't have onshore AUD requirements, so you have to send funds offshore and you have to convert into US dollars sometimes, or you have to fund through a debit or credit card, which has like a 2.5% to 3% funding, like a payment fee, which is quite high. You haven't even traded and you've started paying fees in like that are quite high. So exchanges are great if you know what you're doing, and also if you have if you just want to be left alone to do your own devices. Whereas with a broker, they handle the entire, and we handle the entire transaction for you. So let's say you want to buy $50,000 worth of Bitcoin and $50,000 worth of XRP. What you do is you send us 100 grand Aussie. You give us a call and say, Bish, I'm in the market for 50K of Bitcoin and XRP respectively, and we get the job done for you, and we send you the transfer.
That sounds
we can
a
either
lot easier to me.
100%. And if you're shy to get on the phone, you can simply email us with your request, and we'll transfer the assets to you as well if you want to self-custody, or you can hold the assets with us if that's what you choose to do.
Yeah, and also, you know, just on a little side spin, I'm on lots of different exchanges because I work in the industry, because sometimes certain coins are listed on different exchanges and not listed on some, you know. Whoever's in the background there, mate, throw something at them. All right,
That's it. I'm on the trading floor, so it's all happening here at the moment. So it's all good.
Buy, sell, buy. Yeah. So that's why I like a brokering service. Is you go, I want these coins, I want that coin, but it's only listed on Binance or the different coins are different on indexes and all that.
Simpler, honestly.
You just go here. Your problem now, Bisher. Sort it out, mate.
Yeah, exactly. And we're that's the thing. We provide that service 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So you can have a trade on Christmas Day, you can have a trade on New Year's Day, whatever it is. You can be able to trade with us whenever you like. Whereas on an exchange, they're also open 24/7, but you have to wait on bank processing or transfer times because that might take a couple of business days for it to clear.
Yeah,
Whereas with us, you can trade on a transfer receipt. So you give us the wire transfer or the transfer remittance receipt. We then can invest for you based off the amount that you've transferred and based off the request that you've asked for.
Yeah, and try to get Binance or CoinSpot or somebody else on the phone when you've got a problem. Just forget about it.
Yeah.
It's like dealing with fucking LinkedIn,
Well, I mean, okay. It's such a great example. At the moment, I've got all sorts of stupid problems going on with good old Meta, right?
Yep.
My Messenger is not working at all. Now, who do I call?
Yeah,
what do you
right.
do? Right?
Ghostbusters.
No way. You can't get any help whatsoever. So this is the difference. You can actually talk to someone who will actually talk you through it and fix the problem.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Correct.
Yeah, and that's the point, and actually having that service as opposed to just being an interface. You know what I mean?
Which is a big difference. Now, before you jump into the next subject, mate, time for songs, mate.
Oh, what are you putting
need
on?
Your music. Well, of course you've chosen all the music today.
Yeah,
right?
of course I have. Because you know the new rule, hey, Bisher, he's not allowed to choose any music on these shows anymore.
If I had feelings, I'd be upset, right?
Curious about cryptocurrency and want to learn more? Orange Brick Road offers expert crypto consulting and online courses to help you understand the exciting world of crypto. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced crypto user, Orange Brick Road can help you gain the knowledge and confidence you need to succeed. Take the first step towards mastering crypto with Orange Brick Road at orangebrickroad.com.au. Yesterday was the best day to learn crypto. Today is the second.
Oh, with that fantastic 2025
we're live.
update. Hey, Bisher, you still on the phone there, mate?
Awesome, mate. Yeah, still here. I got entertained with your guys' side chat as well. So cool.
There you go.
Oh, what? Could you hear us talking?
The whole way through, mate.
Oh,
Is
there
that
you
right?
go. There you go.
Shit. Hope that didn't go to air.
It's so funny, though.
You guys just said how much you didn't like me, and I got offended.
We have to edit that out if we went live.
Toughen up, princess, would be the answer on that one. But it is actually funny because different phone services, it's, because we're using a mobile, obviously, to talk to you. Yeah, some people can, some people can't. There you
We'll
are.
have to keep that in mind for the next break, won't we?
Okay, we'll give them a real spray next break.
We'll just write stuff down and pass it to each other. Yeah, that's what I think of Bisher.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into a bit of crypto instead of poor old Bish. And what's segment 2 all about, mate?
Right. Okay, cool. So we talked about the difference between exchanges and brokering service and why you don't need to sign up in 12 different exchanges to find the different cryptos, that sort of thing, and also give your blood sample, your facial recognition, the whole 9 yards, because that's what exchanges are asking for nowadays. They're just...
Know your client, right?
Yeah. Know your client.
Exactly.
Jock size. Just why do you need to know this information?
Really don't.
Anyways, we've had that argument with certain exchanges and they just don't care. But all right, cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, they just fully don't care, do they? They're just like,
no, not at all.
We're preempting the requirements, that are coming in through legislation. I'm like, what are you preempting for?
Yeah.
Why aren't you fighting them?
Yeah, fight them, exactly right.
Yeah, you're supposed to be in
Whose side
crypto.
are you on?
Yeah, and get rid of your Ukrainian flag and your bloody rainbow flag out of your bio too, by the way, and you know who we're talking about if you're listening. I do. Anyways, let's talk about crypto. All right, cool. So we know that that Bitcoin is a store of value. Mm-hmm. It used to originally just be for cross-border payments and the payment system, that sort of stuff, which it still does. I get paid a lot in crypto from clients, that sort of thing, and that's what it gives it utility.
Okay,
right. Okay, let's name a couple of other coins that have utility that you think might have a bit of growth going forward, Bisher.
Yeah, great question. I mean, as always, you're the one that asks supreme insight, so it really gets me going. It really gets me going. Look, for me, there's probably about 5 cryptocurrencies that I would look at outside of Bitcoin. Number one being XRP. I think XRP is going to do phenomenal over the next little while. It's trading under $2.50 US at $2.20 US at the moment. Absolute bargain. I think that it's going to go to $10 this cycle, which would take us, a 4x return on investment here. Nothing is guaranteed, of course. This isn't financial advice, but that's what I'm looking at. That would give it a comparable market cap to that of Ethereum. So which brings me to my next favorite asset to recommend, which is Ethereum. Ethereum's been completely beaten up. The ETH BTC.
Why?
It's been risk off season for quite some time now, and Ethereum does really well in a risk on environment. And I mean, ETH ripped from 1,800 to 2,400 in a very short period of time, which shows you exactly what it's capable of doing when it really gets trucking. It's up 42% month on month, which is fantastic. So you got to respect ETH, having a little bit of ETH in your portfolio, and it's one of the largest and most decentralized cryptocurrency networks out there. So you can't discount it. Although it's been beaten up at 2,600, it's an absolute steal. We expect 5K, which is just over its new all-time high. So you're looking at a potential 100% ROI here over the next 12 months. So again, but with a much lower risk profile. Now, granted, it's already been beaten up quite a fair bit. So coming into a bit of Ethereum now is not the worst investment to make. By that similar vein, I love smart contract platforms, Solana and Sonic being much smaller market caps compared to Ethereum. So if you like the layer ones and you love the programmability of Ethereum and the versatility of Ethereum, you'll love Solana and Sonic. Okay. And I think those are the two ones that I'd be watching. Outside of that, there's probably a couple of other cryptocurrencies much smaller, like XLM, for example, Stellar Lumens, or HBAR, which is Hedera Hashgraph. Really like them. Very, very bullish on those assets. So that would be my main focus of assets to focus.
Yeah, Phantom, Cardano, pretty bullish on that. I'm always bullish on Pulse Chain and Hex too.
You always seem big.
Always love that.
Yeah. I've noticed. I listen. Yeah, there we go.
Sonic, what did that used to be called, Bisher?
Phantom, FTM.
There you go. Yeah. They've just rebranded. Okay. Yeah, and for all your Queensland viewers out there, or listeners out there, the XRP is going to 4X.
How long has he been sitting on that joke?
I wrote it down straight away. Cool. All right. So like if you were like in the crypto market and you're like a newbie, what would be like a solid sort of advice and sort of a portfolio setup that you'd kind of recommend?
Oh, look, I mean, I would say for most folk, 80 to 90% BTC to be really long Bitcoin, because it's actually outperformed in last year, 2024 calendar year. In the entire calendar year, guys, of the 17,000 largest cryptocurrencies by market cap, I'm not talking about a very small sample size here, 17,000 cryptocurrencies by market cap. Only 33 managed to have a better annual performance than Bitcoin last year.
Yep.
Okay. Enough said.
Can you name the 33 for us, mate? Go.
I already named a few of them. XRP had a better performance. HBAR had a better performance. So I did name a few there. I'm not withholding the good stuff. No, not at all. But really, it's Bitcoin all the way, and then the remaining 10 to 20%, I just split evenly across XRP, Ethereum, Sonic, Solana, HBAR, and XLM. Because the great thing about these high growth assets is that you don't need to park a lot of dollars into it to supercharge your returns. Yeah. I mean, from my end, I'm a risk reward guy. I'm a trader first and foremost, right? So the more risk something has and the higher the reward profile, then what I need to do is allocate less capital, but that means that I will still have a lot of upside in the investment.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, don't pile everything into Dogecoin, just risk off. Is there any really lower cap moonshots that you can think of, mate?
I don't really dabble in that kind of stuff. I mean, it's not really my basket to do. I know that people have made absolute squillions and fortunes on that kind of stuff. I mean, the smallest market cap instrument that I probably trade, probably is hyperliquid myself personally.
Yeah.
I mean, HBAR has a smaller market cap. If I was to go through the list, that's probably about it. I mean, there was a moonshot. I wouldn't withhold it from you guys. It's just, I only ever talk to my clients about the things that I'm personally doing.
Yeah.
Now, it's not to say that there aren't opportunities in smaller market caps, but it's just not a game that I usually play, so I wouldn't be in a position to advise my clients on how to do it.
Yeah, 100%. And when I say moonshot, what it is, you put $200 to $300-$400 into something. If it absolutely moons, great. If you lose it, then that's just the risk that you take. You don't just go all in on lower caps. What do you think about Polkadot?
Polkadot, yeah, it's up there.
It's been around for a while.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. Something that we support on our side. It's got a market cap of about $6.3 billion, so it's not small by any means, and it's got lots of potential for further growth as well. One of the tools that I like using on my side to know whether I'm buying something that's got a lot of value is I use something called market cap of. Right. Okay. And it's so you go marketcapof.com and it allows you to compare the market cap of cryptocurrencies with each other, or compare the market cap of, say, Bitcoin to massive stocks. Like, for example, if Bitcoin was to have a comparable market cap to that of Microsoft, it would have a unit price of 172,000 USD, right? Okay. Goes to show you how early we are. So if we look at DOT, for example, Polkadot, which is what old Brando mentioned to us, if that has a comparable market cap to, say, something like Sui or Hyperliquid, which have been the favorites of this market cycle, right? Let me have a look here. It would easily go up 1.78x. So it's worth about $7.37, which, whilst on paper looks good, whilst it's trading at, where is it now? $4.14. It doesn't quite have the risk reward profile that I would be after. So, for example, one of the things that we talked about, which is Sonic. I believe Sonic, which is you and I both, Bill, Sean, Brando, is it used to be known as FTM.
Yep.
Now, if Sonic was to have a comparable market cap to that of, say, for example, something like Tron, which we think is going to do incredibly well over the next little while, even though I'm bullish on Tron, I'm even more bullish on Sonic. Let me just have a quick look here. Phantom against it, 1 second. And then we look at it against old Tron fees. I'm just doing the numbers for you right now because we just got to bring it in. Market cap of, guys, it's an absolute cracking tool. Right. We'd be looking at a 19x return on Sonic if it has a comparable market cap to that of Tron. So it would go from 41 cents to $8.06. So that's a massive, massive upside there for people to kind of go through. Exactly.
Yeah, and that's a really good resource, that link. I use it quite regularly. Excuse me. Sorry. Excuse me. I'm dying here.
Yeah.
All right. I forgot what I was going to ask.
Well, I'll tell you, right, you can have some time to think about, mate. We'll play a song. Bish can actually sit in the background and listen to our banter. And with that comic genius, it must be Brandon in the building, Orange Brick Road,
I've had
mate.
that joke for years.
Oh, yeah, and I can't even guess why you've been sitting on it. No,
it doesn't age.
Fine wine,
It's like me.
Hey, welcome back to the Crypto Arab Power. We're doing our thing here at Edge Radio Australia, and of course, Brandon, he doesn't understand normal social cues, but we let him in the building. Bisher is on the phone. Where are you today, by the way, Bisher?
I'm in our trading floor from our Melbourne office,
nice.
in the great Socialist Republic of Victoria, my friend.
Yep.
So
took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, so you hail a lot of taxis in Melbourne, don't you?
No, I mean we're like the rest of the world. We just usually go into an Uber.
Oh, gee, there was another meaning there, but all right, fair enough.
I know. I tried to dance across it very carefully. So.
Yeah, you're above this. Yeah. I get it. You're above this. I get it.
Melbourne's a nice spot. It's just full of Victorians. That's all.
They can fix it. They can fix it.
Yeah. We can work on it.
All right, mate. Let's get into we're on the home straight. What are we going to talk about here in the world?
We're going to talk about narrative, and what drives the market is pretty much narrative. Like, we've gone through several narratives with crypto, the ICO boom, the NFTs. There's other narratives that fall out, like it's going to replace like the banking system, especially with the XRP, that sort of thing, and And so this narrative, well, I think one of the narratives that's going to do well in this market cycle is real-world assets.
I
Right?
thoroughly agree with that.
Tokenization of real world assets, like, the stock exchange are looking at tokenizing that as well. But there's a couple of projects that I did want to talk about with real world assets. One is Ocean Point, the BST, and also Chainlink. Right.
Tell me more.
Yes. Well, I'm going to get Bisher to tell you more.
Okay.
Because I'm tired.
You've extended yourself today, haven't you, mate? You've woken up and you've walked. Yeah, you've done a lot.
Well, I'm 4 coffees in and I'm starting to crash. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So anyways,
for Block Square, we're one of the only providers that give direct AUD on and off ramps into BST.
Yes, that's correct.
Clients can be able to trade that with us simply and directly through a simple phone call or email, just like any other asset that we support.
Okay.
Block Square looks fantastic. It's trading at just under 10 cents, at around 9 cents at the moment.
Yeah.
I think it's got a lot of potential. I mean, once it kind of sorts out.
I reckon it's $1.20
exactly.
coin in this market cycle, honestly.
Yeah. Well, it's currently trading at a market capitalization which is quite small, about 5 million, 5.4 million. So plenty of potential there, right? I mean, even if it goes to 50 million, that's your $1.10 right there, Brando. So, and it doesn't take much to move it because it's a bit more of an illiquid market. So, definitely right up there with it. In terms of real world assets, Chainlink is also, the plumbing of the real world asset tokenization movement. The reason being is that they provide what is known as Oracle prices, where it's like a point of truth, and Chainlink provides that. So by being able to buy Chainlink, you're potentially buying the infrastructure or the plumbing that's required for all of these tokens to work. And Ondo is another popular one that would be worthwhile mentioning in the tokenization play.
Yeah, it's actually started to do really well. It's been around for a while too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's currently got a market cap. If you look at Ondo, it's much larger than BST. So, it's in terms of opportunity, BST is much higher. Ondo's market cap is about 2.6 billion, right? And over the last, say, little while, it's gone and hit an all-time high. Let's have a look here. All-time high is at $2.14, and is currently trading at 85 cents. So even if it was to just get back to its previous all-time high, there's a potential for 2.5x return there just at hitting its previous all-time high.
Brilliant. Okay, absolutely brilliant. You want to talk about, I know that most of our listeners know what market cap is. For those who are tuning in for the first time, do you want to explain what that is?
And also explain it to Aaron, because he's pretending he knows what it means.
I do actually know. On this one, I'm good. Trust me.
So it's the total circulating supply of an asset times its unit price. So that's how you get market cap. So for example, currently out there is about, according to CoinGecko, the current circulating supply of Bitcoin is 19.873 million Bitcoins exist of a potential 21 million. So you take the unit price, which is 105,300, you times it by its circulating supply, which is 19 million, and it gives you its market cap of just over $2 trillion. So that's how market capitalizations work. And that applies for different asset classes as well, whether you're talking about shares, gold, silver, all of that. And that's a really great tool to help you use and find out relative value.
Aaron's got one job, literally one job.
That was a computer malfunction.
Don't blame the tools, mate.
Don't blame the computer. I'll tell you right now.
No.
Computer said no.
All good.
Unreal.
So really why market cap is a great tool is it's a great way of looking at relative value across different asset classes. So if we talk about Bitcoin having a comparable market cap of gold, and gold has a market cap of 24 trillion, it gives us what is the potential for a store of value to command within the market, and you can look at gold for that. If we look at, say, for example, technology companies such as Apple, and how widely distributed their technologies are, then we can say, okay, well, if Ethereum was having a comparable market cap of, say, Apple, which would be massive for it, and let me have a look here, that would give you a comparable market cap a comparable unit price of $24,000 per Ethereum.
Yeah.
Right? That's insanity. Now, whether that happens or not, we'll see what happens. But, this is why it's so important to recognize market cap as an indicative tool for future value, and it helps you out. So even if Ethereum was to have a comparable market cap to, say, JP Morgan, it will be trading at $6,000. JP Morgan is an old legacy financial institution. And if we were to have Ethereum trade at a comparable market cap of JPM, we'd be at $6,000 right now. So that's why market cap is such a great tool. It's not predictive in the sense that you don't just punch in the numbers and say, okay, well, this is what's going to happen. But it does give you an understanding of relative value.
Yeah, okay.
And if you want to learn more about JP Morgan, just read the book, The Creature at Jekyll Island. You can tell how evil they are. Right. All right, moving on.
Nice.
Okay, so just a little segue back to real world assets and in comparison, right? Because, the tokenization of real estate, if you look at the market cap of real estate, right, which is, I'm going to guess, at about 100 trillion billion sicilian.
Accurate
worldwide,
figure. Yeah, that is.
That's the latest figures.
The exact number is 380 trillion.
All right, smart ass. Just because he's sitting in front of a computer.
That's right.
I'm using ChatGPT.
There we go.
That's my friend ChatGPT, I swear to God. Okay, so you look at the real world, at the tokenization of real world assets, and it's like at about 0.00001% of the actual trillion, billion in the real world marketplace. So if they were to get 5 or 10%, that's where you're looking at market comparison. Okay. So that's the growth aspect of it. So that's why I'm bullish on real world assets, because they're literally tokenizing everything. And just to explain that, really, is basically you've got a property, you can tokenize it, and for example, this is really round figures, if I got 10 grand, I can put $1,000 in 10 different properties, and get a return. Okay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're sharing risk across different platforms there. Okay, that's great.
Exactly. And you can move it instantly. You don't have to wait for real estate agents, because they all suck. We all know that. And also the government.
Not all of them.
Which I love government.
You do love government. I do.
Yeah.
I feel that love. Yeah. All right, now look, we've got 30 seconds to go. You've probably heard that before in your life, Brandon.
That's a bloody long time for me, mate.
Any last thoughts for the show today?
Yeah, cool. The best place to get hold of getting into StormRake and that sort of stuff is a really good website called orangebrickroad.com.au. You go to the services tab and you'll see that we have about 14 different services in every aspect of crypto.
Yep.
And you'll see a tab called broker, and then away you go. You're in like Tim Flynn.
Easy as that. Now, Bisher, any last thoughts, mate?
Absolutely. I mean, Brando took the words right out of my mouth. We're very accessible. We're available 7 days a week, 365 days a year for full-on service, so that way you can get access to the markets and onboarded seamlessly and quickly, because there's nothing worse than trying to get access to an opportunity and then having to get hit by forms upon forms of requirements and requests. You just give my team a call and we help you out.
Well, time is money, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the best way to put it, dealing with a centralised exchange, right, it's like dealing with an ex-wife. Right,
I'll just play.
Have you got a lot of experience there?
I've got 2 of them, bro. There won't be a third.
Thanks, Bish. We'll talk to you very soon.
Talk to you soon, brother.
Hope you've enjoyed the Crypto Hour of Power here on Edge Radio Australia.